I heard you're trying to expand your music taste. Well, you've come to the right place. My name is Mijanu, you could call me Miha or Ikoshun, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. It's a bit difficult for me to describe music, so I tend to describe it in different moments and scenarios. So based off of the scenario or mood that you're interested in, you can choose to listen to that specific album. If you're looking for an album that makes you feel like you're walking down the streets of London on a foggy, gray, and rainy summer, or laying in your bed staring out the window as the bedroom gets darker and darker as the day ends, one that feels minimal and dark and filled with a comforting loneliness, then look no further than King Cruel's 6 Feet Beneath the Moon. Archie Marshall, otherwise known as King Cruel, released this certified classic when he was only 19, and I discovered this, I believe, in 2015 when Jungkook from BTS recommended one of the songs from the album, and since then I've been listening to it for years. It's by no means an underrated album. I think it's pretty popular, but I wanted to recommend it because of how gritty and floaty it feels. That might not make sense, but it sounds like you're standing outside and you notice everyone's walking by you in slow motion and you're thinking about that person that you really shouldn't, but the image of their face keeps popping up in your mind. You would have painted the skies for them. For some reason, even though this album has a dark and gritty atmosphere, it has sort of a warmth to it. And I say it's floaty because it makes me think of the ocean from time to time while listening. I love the repeated "I just want you to know" lyric in the song Will I Come. It just really emphasizes his desperation to say what he needs to say to the person he's singing about. And I can go on and on about how gorgeous Out Getting Ribs is. There's an actor named Young Mazzino who played Out Getting Ribs on Jimmy Fallon, and I was this close to buying the guitar that he was playing on, but it was sold out online, so I was like, okay, maybe that's a good idea because I already have 3 guitars and I don't need another one, but if I ever see it on eBay, then... The album has elements of trip-hop, jazz, and rock, and I think Archie blends all of these genres so seamlessly, and I highly recommend that you listen to this album. If you're looking for an album that feels like the calmness of ocean waves overlapping onto your skin around dusk, the feeling of traversing the woods looking for a lost friend, the feeling of finally being able to rest after that friend has been found, then look no further than Ichigo Aoba's Windswept Aiden. This album is the epitome of peace and relief to me. Like, literally just hitting play makes me feel like everything's gonna be okay again. Ichiko's vocals makes me think of a siren where they lure you to the sea from how beautiful and captivating her vocals are. Listening to this album feels very whimsical, and it feels like I'm about to pick berries and mushrooms after winning the war, kind of like in the anime Frieren. And I love how she blends strings and percussions together to create an overall earthy and natural sound. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but my favorite song off the album is Parfum d'Etoile. I just love the echoes of the piano and how it just makes me think of you going into a room and you see a stranger sitting down at a dusty piano, and as they begin to play, you just take a look around you and your surroundings, and you hear the piano play and the people around you are talking over it, and it just feels like you're actually in the room where the song is being played. I think it's just very beautiful, and that song always calms me down. If you like all of that I just mentioned, then I think you should definitely check this album out. If you want an album that makes you feel like you swam into the deep ocean and you stumbled upon a jellyfish rave where a robotic siren is singing over haunting and distorted, eerie trap beats, then look no further than Earth Eater's Trinity. One of the genres for this album is called Witch House, and I think that's the perfect description for this album. It has a very eerie and haunting siren type of sound to it, but like it also makes you want to jump up and down and take some acid. Like it's a good blend of the two. I realized we have 2 different types of sirens in this video. We have the kind and soft siren Ichiko that lures you in with peace and tranquility, and then we have the Earth Eater siren that attacks you at the highest pinnacle of fun at a party. But yeah, I think this album is really cool. I love the production in every single song. especially Solid Liquid Gas, Preservation, and Super Soaker. I think the lyrics in all the songs are very sensual, but it's fun. Like the first time I heard it, I kind of like laughed. Like I was not expecting all of the songs to be like that, but I really like it. Like the songs, the lyrics, everything. It's a really cool album to me. I was about to recommend her other album, Powders, since it has a lot of down-tempo and trip hop elements to it, but based off of how many songs I listen to from Trinity and Powders, I tend to listen to the whole album of Trinity, whereas with Powders, I have a select few songs that I listen to. If you want to feel like you're making s'mores next to a bonfire on a chilly autumn night, while fireflies dance around you and crickets sing from the hidden shadows of bushes, or if you're trying to not dislike any music genres and country music it's kind of hard for you to get into, then I recommend Big Thief's Dragon New Warm Mountain, I Believe in You. 31st floor of the simulation swarm. The reason I said the country thing earlier is that even though this album isn't country, it's more Americana or folk, I think it really gave me a nice introduction into country elements and slowly drifting into it. I'm still nowhere into it though. I think the most I can do is Zach Bryan or whatever songs they were forcing us to listen to at Longhorn when I used to work there. But with Big Thief, it's like they let you dip your pinky toe into the soft twangs and acoustics that country music has to offer, especially in songs like Spud Infinity and Red Moon, but this album mixes so many other genres that elevates it for me. You've got your folk, you've got your indie rock like in the song Little Things. That song is so good. It makes me feel like I'm in like a movie montage driving through New York with my friends or something, especially towards the end where all of the instruments just clash together so beautifully. You've got some really cool beats on Heavy Bends, and for some reason The Only Place makes me think of Daryl Dixon. I don't know why, but it does. Whenever the song Simulation Swarm plays, like the little drum beat that plays right as you click play on the song, I instantly am washed away with peace. That song is one of my absolute favorites from the album, and it just means so much to me. I love the lyric, I believe we can renew and you could be my brother once again, fall asleep with our backs against each other. It just makes me think of a nice familial love and spending time with the ones that I cherish the most. All of this together makes this one of my favorite Big Thief albums, and I highly recommend you check it out. If you want to feel like you're in a movie where the protagonist takes a meaningful road trip with their friends and go through self-realization, heartbreak, and bundles of nostalgia, or if you're a big fan of Black Country New Road, then Racing Mount Pleasant's self-titled album is for you. Call it easy, call it quits. This album feels like it'll definitely be a timeless one, even though it only came out in 2025. The incredibly beautiful instrumentation makes me feel like I'm floating, and I think Sam's vocals really elevates that. There's a lot of similarities with them and Black Country New Road, but I think this album is kind of their darker, moody cousin, if that explains how this album sounds. It's like a moody baby between Black Country New Road and Bon Iver. It also has a movie soundtrack feel to it, so I can see almost every song off this album playing in like a really cool sequence or maybe the end credits scene. The saxophone is so beautiful here, especially in the song Emily towards the end. They go ballistic with the saxophone. The song Call It Easy was my first introduction to Racing Mount Pleasant, in the way that the first half of the song was already completely perfect to me, and then the second half of the song is just purely instrumental, and they just build it up, and it's just, I don't think I can explain how beautiful this song is. I was about to say it should be illegal to make something so beautiful, but no, it should be legal. Like, please make more. Outlast is also a great song, but it always makes me think of Outlast Trials, because that's, like, I was playing a lot of Outlast Trials with my friends, and one of my friends recommended that song to me, and so now whenever I hear it, I just think of playing Outlast Trials. But I think this entire experience is pleasant, and I definitely recommend you check it out. If you want an album that tackles the struggles of mental health, the lack of self-love, or the loss of love with a blend of indie rock and jazzy saxophone, then look no further than Nilüfer Yanya's Miss Universe.
'cause the sunshine don't last. Help me take.
One day, whenever I publish a novel, I'm going to name one of my characters Nilüfer after Miss Yanya. For some reason, I really love that name. This is her debut album and it came out in 2019, and I was really grateful to see her in DC that same year. And it's just wild to think that 2019 was, 7 years ago? And because I've been listening to this album for so long, it feels very nostalgic to me. The cool thing about this album is that every song to me sounds like its own individual thing, but it blends so well with all of the others on this album. A lot of the time when an artist does a concept album, sometimes there's songs here and there that don't really mesh with the concept that they're trying to give off, but with this one here, I feel like every song does its job and was strategically placed to do so that you can really feel the album's themes. I love the saxophone chorus and overall production of the song Melt. It's one of my absolute favorites off the album next to Baby Blue and Safety Net. I love how Heavyweight Champion starts off very minimal, and as the song goes on, it just gradually explodes in production. Again, sorry if this isn't really descriptive, but either way, it's a really great album that you should definitely check out. If you want an idiosyncratic album that is filled with electronic soundscapes of traversing a computer filled with fungus and plant overgrowth, churches with hidden vampires lurking in the shadows, and the constant eerie feeling of the hairs on your neck standing up, then look no further than Björk's Vespertine. This isn't just an album to me, honestly. It's a painting that you can stare at for hours and look at every single tiny detail, and time will not feel like it's passing whatsoever. I love every single song off this album, but I'm just going to talk about a few of them. I think Cocoon is an adorable song. It's very minimal and soft, and even though lyrically it's very, very sensual, it still feels like a lovely love song to me. It's probably because of how she's singing and how soft the production of the song is. It kind of makes me think of And Love by Florence and the Machine. That song just recently came out, and I love how both of them are just filled with sincerity and feels honest and raw, and I think that's probably what makes them like some of my favorite love songs. Now, Pagan Poetry, she is everything that she thinks she is. I think I was shocked when I first heard that song, and it made me go into a deep dive of Björk's music, because I only really knew Army of Me and Venus as a Boy before actually diving deep into her music. And I honestly believe that listening to Björk has kind of shaped my music taste a little bit to where I truly wanted it to be. Like when I was younger, I would listen to a lot of Bats for Lashes and Florence and the Machine, and I just love the dark, chamber-like, eerie type of music that always tends to like sit really well with me, and I'm like, oh man, this is what I'm supposed to be listening to. It just sounds so nice to me, and it anything that sounds like haunting, you know. But I like all genres, but for some reason, music that sounds like that really scratches my eardrums perfectly. I love the lyrics. This time I'm going to keep me all to myself, but he makes me want to hand myself over. And I love how that can mean like it's scary, but you make me want to show you my true self and all of the vulnerabilities that come with that. And then it transitions into Frosty. I love this album so much. The song Unison, a film in itself. Imagine singing this song live with a full orchestra. I would probably start to float, and everything can end there. That would be it for me. The lyric, I thrive best hermit style with a beard and a pipe and a parrot on each side, but now I can't do this without you. Björk, I relate to you so much, beloved. Please listen to this album. It's an amazing one. If you want an album that feels like fighting or walking around the worlds of Cowboy Bebop or Samurai Champloo, an album that feels like a smoky, low-exposure bar that sells overpriced drinks and hors d'oeuvres, then look no further than Arthur Verosai's self-titled album. Listening to this album always makes me feel classy and makes me want to pour myself a glass of wine even though I don't drink alcohol. It makes me want to put on my best trench coat and go to a poetry slam. It's so elegant and funky with its soulful samba and jazz influences, and since it was made in the 70s, for some reason it always makes me think of car chases or detective looking to solve the case. I don't know, 70s music always makes me think of detectives for some reason, but this album is what I think a spring evening feels like. It's just so refreshing and fun, yet elegant and relaxing, and I highly recommend this album to you. Those are all of the albums that I have to recommend to you. Let me know what you think if you check out some or all of them. Until next time.